gonna lag the whole time.
Chickies.
Oh my goodness.
Hello.
Hi.
My connection is unstable. So much.
How is this? Is it the internet, I wonder?
I don't know. Do we need to move over?
Let's move back over her.
I can do some.
There we go. Whoa, look at that.
Oh.
I wonder if that helped. The hallway looks creepy. We kind of look creepy now.
Oh, we're in the dark. You want to light on?
Sure. Woo!
Well, we got 2 thumbs up and 4 people watching my shenanigans.
Hi, Lori. Hi, Tina Ladybug. Oh, man.
Good evening.
Good evening, y'all. Yeah,
All
we're
right.
clowning around trying to figure out get the best connection. Internet's lagging today, probably because everybody's home because it's Sunday afternoon and using our small town internet here.
We are back in the church kitchen tonight.
We are. We're not at home tonight. But yeah, back in the church kitchen. So we got the nice double ovens behind us and the mixer. Hi, Jess. Yeah, Keto Homestead with Jess.
Awesome.
Robertsons will be here in just a minute.
Yeah,
to mod for us.
I didn't let Ricky know.
Oh, you didn't? Oh, hi, Miss Patty. Patty from Southern Bless is here, and you like the love the smiles and giggles.
Yeah, everybody knows you don't smile with your mouth, right? Okay.
Well, if I have to smile on demand, it looks like it does not look good.
Who stepped on your foot?
It's like I'm in pain. Ooh. I get it from my dad. He does the same thing. He's like, yeah, if one of our kids, you tell her to smile and she does this. Me, I do. Thinking I'm smiling and my lips are going the wrong way.
All right. Hi,
kitchen
everybody.
It's beautiful. Thank you. We have a nice kitchen at our church. It's much bigger than it's a nice galley kitchen, but it's a lot.
About half the size of our house.
Yeah, it is. It's big. It's big.
But yes, we were really excited when we came to this church to pastor it. Is one of the nice things about the building was the big kitchen.
The big kitchen, yeah.
And it's a nice walk through, makes a nice circle through the building.
Yeah.
It's just a wonderful kitchen.
Yep.
Nice cabinets, good appliances.
Yep. Huh. So how's everybody doing? Everybody doing good? You have a good week? Oh, Tracy. Hey, Tracy. Yes, Miss Patty, we are at our church building. In the little town. This is the church where Gary pastors, and we're in the church building. We get the best internet reception here, and since the internet was struggling at home, we thought we better come in here. And I had to do some editing, and when I'm editing videos, it's way easier to come in here and get them edited and loaded.
And the router's right here on the kitchen cabinet. I guess that's what that thing's called.
Whatever that thing is. The
thing that spits out the internet. Things that spits out the interwebs. It is in the kitchen building, or in the kitchen, in the kitchen in the church building, and we just put the computer right under it here, and it's the best place we can get the internet.
But we've got the little box up there on the cabinet right up there above us.
Ladybug in East Texas, you finally got electricity and water. All right.
Yeah, our family in my family, I have family in East Texas, Southeast Texas, and Southwest Texas, and South Central Texas. So I have family down near Houston.
Texas.
Yeah. I have family near Tyler. I have family near the Fort Worth, south and a little west of Fort Worth, and I have family down near San Antonio and some near Victoria.
Patty, how much snow did you guys get?
My mama's family, most of a good chunk of them are in Texas. Woohoo!
Hey,
Rachel made it. Hi, Rachel. Robertsons are in here. Oh, Jess with Keto Homestead. Their water is still frozen in Ohio.
Well, I'll tell you what.
We froze up.
We did, just for shortly.
Yeah.
Just for like 14 hours.
It was over 24 hours.
Oh, it took me 14 hours thawed out.
It was over 24 hours. 24 hours.
Yeah, and we did good at -9.
We did good at -15.
But at -21,
we
froze.
And it wasn't like the main. It wasn't.
Live in Tyler.
You live in Tyler?
I
got family at Tyler. Well, close.
You had 9 inches of snow at Tyler. Oh, I bet y'all were freaking out.
No wonder. My Uncle Paul they live in a camper near there, and yeah. Oof. Max Brothers in San Antonio.
Plumbing, because
I
bet they are. You get farther south of Tyler though, but San Antonio, man, they don't hardly bury water lines. They'll bury water lines like a foot.
Well, my family that's down near Beaumont, they have their houses are all up off the ground, and they don't have much skirting, or they're on stilts. Some of them are on stilts. Patty said they got 10 inches in Mississippi. Ooh.
Yep.
And
we probably got about 10 inches here altogether.
Some of it wore out blowing back and forth.
Yeah. This is Kansas.
Yes.
So when I was helping feed and different things, I'm pretty involved in the cattle industry. When I was helping a guy feed, we did come across some drifts one day that were higher than the hood of the truck.
Yeah.
But and so we probably got 10 inches altogether, but we did get -21 in temperature, and that particular guy was calving in this mess, and it was tough, and he's still kind of fighting that battle.
Yeah.
So I'm going to tell y'all let's just talk through some.
Reconnecting. There we go. Now try.
Can y'all see me? Oh,
it said it was
something on the camera.
He said it was reconnecting, so we kind of paused. Everybody's on the internet of our slow little town, so yeah. But you were talking about being prepared for the cold. What to do when you freeze up.
So let's tell some of the stories of what we've done over the years. One of the this is kind of an older thing, electric dryers. Your electric dryer has a vent hose on the back of it, and it should vent out the wall at some point. Some of them go down under the house and then out the stem wall. Some of them just go through the wall behind it. Some of them actually go into a ducting in the wall and go up and out. Am I missing anything?
No, you need to back up a little bit though. You're all up in here. You must see all the hair up his nose. Oh, me.
It was
buffering a second ago. Okay, but we're back good. Okay. Let's see. Tina said that she had never seen a 1-degree temp in her 47 years. And Patty said they cleared parking lots in town to make piles of snow. Yes, we saw that in Wyoming. They would put it in big places. They'd truck coulees. They call them coulees. Coulees, arroyos, gullies.
Yeah, we call them gullies.
We call them gullies.
So we're talking about the electric dryer.
Yes, electric dryer is one of the things you can do.
Vent hose on the back of it. Talked about thing warm enough under the house. Is a hole in the floor to where that vent hose just goes.
In the wintertime.
Yeah, in the wintertime. In the wintertime only.
Climate. You only want to do this when it's really, really cold.
Yeah, this is a wintertime trick. In the summer or in the spring, when it starts to not be cold, you pull it and put it back out the side of the house.
And you have something to cover that hole so you don't get varmints coming in. Go for green living. Hi, guys.
And one other trick with the electric dryer. Put that under the house, blows warm air, and when it gets really cold and you're afraid of things freezing up or whatever, just dry some clothes. And that's one thing that helps. Another thing that also helps, and this is kind of in the same, is wash a load of clothes, because it runs hot water through the pipes in your house. And when you run that hot water, that brings the temperature around it, the ambient temperature around it up. That gives what insulation you have more temperature to insulate. So do a load of laundry. I mean, that helps with the temperature. Also, another thing with your dryer, if you don't want to cut a hole in your floor, you don't want to cut a floor in your hole, you take you just pop the hose off.
Put a sock on
and put a sock on the end of it, and it catches all the lint, and it warms up your laundry room or wherever
or the back of your house.
Back of your house brings the temperature up. Doing laundry can help keep the temperature up in your house if you've got electric still, but it can help warm up your house. That's one of the tricks we've used in lots of places.
The most common trick we use to keep water from freezing in our home is both hot and cold water needs to be trickling in every faucet. So that would be your kitchen, your bathrooms, your bathtubs. That's why running a little water will keep things going, because that's where
ultimately all your plumbing needs to either be buried in the ground below frost line, which in Kansas is 3 feet. Needs to be buried in the ground below frost line, or in an insulated space that has a bit of a heat source.
Right.
A lot of times under your house, if you've got a good stem wall and it's all sealed up tight, your seal plate's got seal on it and all that, the heat that comes under your house does that. One of the things we do in our trailer house is everything that's not in the underpinning of the trailer house, not the skirting, but the underpinning, everything that's not there, I have wrapped in heat tape, and I have wrapped that heat tape in an insulation. I've got that much I wasn't able to get heat taped and electric real well. And I've got some warm space there, and it's kind of part of almost in the underpinning, and that froze up on us at 21 degrees below zero.
And we have the little space heater that for where the water holding tank is. Patty says that the electric company told them not to wash clothes to save on power. Yeah. That was a little bit of an issue for most of us. We had the strangest thing. So we live between two towns. The town north of us was without power, and the town south of us was without power for just over 3 hours, which was nothing compared to what y'all went through. But it was without power in sub-zero temperatures. I mean, like that 21-degree day, wasn't it? That it was. I mean, they shut
below.
Yeah, they shut power off at 21 below zero. We did not lose anybody that we know of in our towns for over 3 hours, and the temps never got above zero that day. They stayed. I think our high that day was -9, and they had to endure those sub-zero temperatures without power, without a way. Most of them without a way to heat their homes. It was pretty brutal.
And for the most part, most Kansas houses are going to hold the temperature for a while.
For a while. It's going to get pretty cold in your house.
Yeah, but it's going to get cold like in the 40s, or 30s. I might get freezing, but it's not going to get 20 below in your house.
Right.
For the most part.
Yes, Miss Patty, it was very, very cold. We were concerned about some of our elderly. It was, if they didn't get it back on.
Another trick. Here's another trick.
Hi, eco-centric.
I'm not a sugar-covered marshmallow.
What are you talking about?
Peeps.
Oh. He's a clown, so ignore him.
So if you don't have a wood stove, build a fire in your yard. Fire pit. Build a big fire in your yard. Let it burn down. Get a coffee can or a metal bucket. Shovel a bunch of coals in there. Get coals, not burning charcoal. Coals. Put them in that bucket. Put them under your house. It will radiate heat. I wouldn't leave that in there overnight. I'd stay where I can kind of keep an eye on it a little bit, but it will generate some heat to thaw out and to help keep things from freezing.
Yeah, and you want to make sure it's not near anything
combustible.
It's going to freeze. You want to make sure it's not near anything combustible, and you want to make sure that it is contained. The other thing you can do besides the coals is to warm rocks. That would be a safer idea. High drops, the safer idea would be to heat the rocks around your fire pit and move the rocks in underneath.
And I've thrown shovels full of coals under vehicle motors to help put some heat up under that hood. So
now, if you have an oil leak, don't do that.
If they're leaking, not a good deal.
Don't do that if you have an oil leak.
You'll find out if you've got a leak. If you got a fuel leak, you'll know it in minutes.
I would rather go with the rocks and the bricks.
There's a lot of things I do when she's not watching.
I go the safe route. Most times.
Another thing, if you have another safe way of putting heat in a small area, is a bottle or a pot of hot water radiates a lot of heat. So if you have a way of boiling water and you can set that in a place that you need to warm up a zone, you can.
I wouldn't quite boil it because actually boiling water cools down faster than warm water. Rebel Canners, hello, Rebel Canners. If we missed you, please say hi. And
Robertson's taking care of it for us.
Okay,
good.
They're saying hi to everybody.
Yeah.
Yes, Patty, God is always watching him. Somebody's got to watch him. I can't be everywhere at once. Praise the Lord, he can.
Yes, God has watched over me a lot in my life. Yeah. And we do know that he is ever present.
Ever present, because he's done some crazy things, y'all. Crazy, crazy things. Very crazy things.
I think probably the craziest I've ever done to heat something up is I had a small engine that would not start because it was so cold, and I peed on it, and it raised the temperature in the metal enough that it started on my log splitter one time. Hello from Idaho.
Buttons Mom 100. Hello, Buttons Mom. Yes, Lori. We don't want to know what he does unsupervised. Yeah, we don't want to know what he does unsupervised. It is not pretty.
Nobody argues with the results.
I don't know about that. Patty, we're definitely not turning him and Mac loose together unsupervised. That would be disastrous. We might lose a house or something over that. No, I'm sure they do fine, but oh me.
Well, it was pretty cold.
It was cold. It was cold, and I'm doing a video on it, and we got to talking about the video.
Don't let me near Rusty.
Oh, they they do really good.
I think last time we were in a vehicle together, I only ran one stoplight. Only one.
So they were in a town where Gary grew up near, and some things had changed, and there was construction going on, and Gary got confused and run the stoplights. You know how they changed those darn intersections? It used to be an actual stoplight,
right?
And now it was like a four-way.
It was under construction. There was equipment everywhere, and I think there was a stoplight sign on a cone or on a orange barrel, and I just didn't see it.
Just whoosh, right on through.
And as I got through, I told Rusty, I said, "There used to be a stoplight there." He said, "Yeah, there was a stop sign there. You patched it."
And in his defense, when we got ready to move from, because we used to live in that area. And when we got ready to move from that area out to my parents' farm, when we were first married, it was go one way and red the other way. So like it was yellow, flashing yellow on the main road that he was on, and the other street that crossed it was they had to stop and wait for clear traffic. But yeah. Yeah, those roundabouts, holy cow, those things are a pain in the butt.
There's a few of those in one of the towns close to us here in Kansas. And when there's only 2 or 3 cars, they're not too bad.
Right.
I mean, they aren't awful.
I don't like the ones near the interstates. They seem to be the worst, especially when you get all those big trucks.
And
it's really hard.
A bit faster.
And they are. Yeah. And there's some outside of Topeka that we go to a meeting, and they're super easy. There's not you never have more than 3 cars there, so you're good.
They're just, instead of a little 4-way stop sign,
there's just a little roundabout.
Yeah.
And let's see, Adventure, Hawks, Ancient, Harmony. Hello. And they say, guess moving to Idaho right now might be like moving to the Ice Age. Yep. Oh, Rachel, we missed Rachel or Rusty, whichever one. Only one stoplight was a good thing. It could have been a whole lot worse. Drops, at least they didn't put, yeah, the roundabouts. They never met. Yeah, we may just keep going round and round.
Look, there's Great Bend. Or there's Big Bend. Yeah.
Going round and round. Yeah, going around Bend. Oh, mercy.
So
they put one at the ramps on I-90 near Spokane, where a major truck stop is. Yes, that's where ours are in our next big town up, Emporia. They're near the big truck stops, and it's a pain in the butt.
And one of them's near the high school.
And one's near the high school. I forgot about that one. And it's near the technical college and the high school. And that it's just in school time when the school's letting out or getting ready to start. Those soccer moms will run you over in their SUVs. Yeah. Oh, cool. North Idaho. That's awesome.
Cool. I don't know if I've actually ever been on ground in Idaho.
We've flown over.
I've stood on the salmon, Idaho, on one bank of the river, and the other bank was Idaho. I was in Wyoming at Jackson Hole. I'm trying to remember what river that was.
The Snake River.
The Snake. I stood on the Snake and looked into Idaho, but I don't know if I've ever. I take that back. My middle daughter made me wade over across the river with her so we could say we'd been in Idaho.
You've been lows in the 20s and highs in the 30s. That's good.
Well, that's nice.
That is nice.
When we hit 20 here, it was like a heat wave. One of the weird things was we had all that cold, and then when it started warming back up one day, it hit 20, the sunshine, and get this record in Kansas, there wasn't any wind.
Oh, me. Patty says she thinks the South got colder temps than some of the northern states. I think so. I know we were colder a few days than our friends back in Wyoming.
Rebel Canners, the fire truck couldn't take the roundabout. That's bad. That's bad.
Found out the hard way. Don't live too far from Idaho. It's about 50 miles away for drops. Yeah. Now we've been in Seattle. We flew into Seattle. We flew into Salt Lake City, Utah. So we've never truly been outside of the airports much. Like our hotel in Seattle was right at the airport.
And our convention.
They put one in our town and took it out. Yeah. Well, that's not good. Rebel Canner and Patty says, yeah, that is not good. So our county is so large, we have one stoplight in our whole county.
Yeah. And after 10 o'clock, it's a blinking red.
Blinking red, you got a 4-way stop there.
Yep.
Yep. We're going to buy friends, see it circling. But yeah, so that we're pretty Hickville out here.
We're almost 25 minutes into this.
I know. How many cattle did they say per person? It's like 1,000 or 2 or 3. Whenever it's top grazing season, because we are grassland, it's top grazing season. There's like 500,000 cattle in our county. And
that's just stockers that are brought in. That's not count all the cow calf.
Okay, that's just the stockers.
That's just the ones that are brought in just for the summer.
So that's not counting the mama cows and the calves that were already here. And then we have a population of just over 5,000 of people in our whole county. So we oftentimes have way more cattle than we have people.
Always.
Probably.
And that's the way God intended it.
Yep.
Not really, but
he's on me.
I like cattle. Some days better than people.
Drop says some genius from MIT probably thought it was a good idea, Rebel Canners. We won't get on engineers. I have to be careful because I guess technically my dad's an engineer.
We've got 8 people in here.
That's awesome. 8 thumbs up.
8 thumbs up.
Thank you, guys. That's cool.
So one of the things we were going to invite you to, but I'm not sure how much longer it's going to be there. For those of you all, we've mentioned a couple weeks ago about our faith geared, our faith centered videos and faith is always a part of what we do, our faith. But for those of you that really like those, we have a church Facebook page that posts my sermons every Sunday. We do them live. We actually decided today.
Our church
decided today that after a couple of weeks, after 2 weeks from now, we're not going to put those up anymore on Sunday. Now, there will still be some kind of message or Bible study or something on there.
Yeah.
But our Sunday service live is not going to be on there after 2 weeks from today.
Ecocentric wants to know how big is the county. So how big is our land mass? Do you remember you did that research the other day?
Yeah, I don't remember.
That's easy. I'll look it up. I'll take my glasses off so I can see.
We are one of the bigger counties, especially in this part of Kansas. I think we are one of the larger counties in Kansas altogether, but we are in eastern Kansas, which tends to be a little smaller than western Kansas. So I want to invite y'all on Facebook, First Baptist Church, Madison, Kansas. That's our church Facebook page, and you can find some messages and different things on there. First Baptist Church, Madison, Kansas.
Okay. It says that it is 1,153 square miles.
So, yeah.
Okay, of land and 9.3 square miles of water. We're the 5th largest county in Kansas. So we're not the largest. There's 4 bigger than us.
Okay.
Yeah. So we're about
big as the county.
About 160 acres, or 1,160 acres, little over, of area wise. Or not miles.
Miles. Miles. Say, miles is pretty close to that.
1,162.3 square miles.
About 10,000 people in my county. 400 and change in my town. There's 6,000 in our county.
Not quite.
No, it's 5,000 something.
Yeah, it's just over 5,000.
Okay.
We dropped. Our little town, the actual live in the town near us, is about 800.
Yeah, the ones.
And the other town is
300.
300. Yep.
Really, in Robertson's, you really enjoyed our Sunday service. I'm glad you enjoyed that. I can be silly and I like to goof around, but I'm really serious about my relationship with Jesus and what He reveals to me in His Word. And you're going to find that on our church Facebook page.
Howdy, Hat Creek. 2,400 square miles for drops.
Yeah, Patty, I'd love for you guys to come look that. Like I said, it's going to change in a couple of weeks, but right now where I air in my sermons, they're just live, Facebook living our sermons.
Look, Rachel's got a link. Rachel's got a link
Awesome.
down here for our church's Facebook page. Thank you,
Good
Rachel.
job, Rachel.
Good job. Tyrannical covers. Hello.
Hello. More rural than here. Yeah, we are pretty rural. Guys, this is a lot of people think they're rural, but this is pretty seriously rural. This is our main 2 industries in this county are agriculture and oil. And that's what this county, and even more agriculture than oil. I mean, this is cattle country. There's a lot of beans and wheat and stuff here too, but this is cattle country.
Ecocentric said their town is 150, and there's a bunch of small towns around. Hi, Jules. Jules is listening in, and Drops is saying hi to everybody. Thanks, Drops. Yeah, so we like our little homestead. It is right on a main road, but our nearest neighbor is a mile away, and you can't see their house. The nearest house you can see is catty corner through the mile section, so it's just over a mile away. And so, and we're pretty blessed. We haven't, nobody's messed with us. I don't know. Gary's
3,600.
Gary's very respected in the area, and so people watch out for us.
Lori Carp, I like rural areas. I love rural people, and I like rural areas. I like it where we live kind of on our own hook.
Yeah.
Where it's not all set up systems, where we kind of make our own way, and I like that.
Closest fast food. It's 28 miles.
Well, it depends on what you're calling fast food.
Our county seat has a Pizza Hut and a Sonic, and then there's a couple of family restaurants.
Yep.
And
there's a burger joint that's locally owned.
Yeah, we do have but it is call-in order only. We have a case.
I was talking about the Lomar.
Oh, the Lomar down there. I forgot about that.
So what goes for fast food in this end of the county is the Casey's.
Yes.
Which is the gas station that has a little kitchen in it.
Tiny kitchen.
It has pizza and chicken strips and hamburgers.
Yeah, just got a couple of hot things that.
There's also, you cannot forget, if we're talking about places to eat in Greenwood County, the Hamilton Drug Store.
Yes, that is the best place to eat.
Yes, and
in our county, my opinion.
At lunch, you're going to get what she makes or a sandwich. And she'll make you a sandwich if you don't like what she's making. But
Lori Carp says she is in Northwest Oklahoma.
Yeah. Okay. We're originally from almost Northeast Oklahoma.
Now, if you want McDonald's or Arby's, there is McDonald's. Well, there's 2 McDonald's in Emporia and an Arby's in Emporia. There's several fast foods, 2 Taco Bells,
and that's
2 or 3 Subways.
About 30 minutes away.
Yeah, it's about
in another county.
In another county. So our technical fast food restaurants are Pizza Hut and Sonic in our county seat, which we don't go to our county seat that often. It's pretty small. There is a tiny little grocery store there.
It's a nice grocery store.
It is a very nice grocery store.
It's a good for a small town. It's a great grocery store for that.
2 old people on a couch. Hey guys, we got lots of Okies in here today. Okies are representing. Yeah. So yeah, we got one Walmart 30 miles away. There's not a whole lot of shopping. In our little town closest to us, there is a little bitty family-owned grocery store, and we do have a Dollar General. Woohoo! Yeah, that everywhere there's an open field, there's a Dollar General.
Yeah.
And yeah, we're waiting for one to come in down the road the other way.
Yeah, a man landed on the moon, and 2 weeks later, there was a Dollar General there.
Oh my goodness, he's ornery. Lori Carp's 45. Lori, you probably got out there in western Oklahoma. There's probably some stretches that'd be similar to western Kansas, where it's everything's few and far between. We were that way in Wyoming. Everything was an hour away. We lived in that little bitty town, and
it did have a grocery store and a restaurant.
For a while, yeah. And we had the gas station, of course, and we actually had a motel for a while, and then they closed it or kind of privatized it. Small Drops has a small grocery store in their town. Walk in and bang your head on the back wall. Oh goodness.
Home is bigger than the grocery store.
Home is bigger than the grocery store.
Yeah, that's funny.
Oh, me.
So, since we're talking about grocery stores and places to eat, something I thought we might talk about tonight is what it takes to feed yourself.
Yes.
Cyndi and I have actually been working on a book idea for a while about feed your own self. And
don't steal our title.
Yeah, don't steal our title. You've got to have your grammar corrected. But the idea or the art of being able to grow and produce and forage your own food and source your own food.
Yes.
And that's probably a better term, source. It.
Mm-hmm.
Because even way back in the day, there was often something that was sourced from outside the local area or something that couldn't be produced themselves. Even sometimes if it was just salt.
Right.
There was things that were needed to be traded for and brought in. And so when we talk about feeding ourselves, we need to get this idea of different boxes or different bins that we get our food out of, source our food out of. And, I hope you all like a good steak. As a beef producer, I hope you like a good steak, but you don't want to eat that all the time. So you have a source for meat, and you need to have a source for vegetables, and that's pretty typical, right? Very few of us buy all of our food in the same store, and if we do buy all our food in the same store, unless you hit your head on the back wall, you probably don't buy it from the same aisle. You get different spots in the store, and we need to think about that. Think about things that way when we're sourcing our own food. That being said, some of those boxes or sources or places can be your garden, your chicken house, your farm. Let's just call that agriculture, your home agriculture, your small homestead agriculture, hunting and fishing and foraging, buying stuff at the grocery store, things that are given away, and start to think about where you're sourcing food from and where you can source food from. And another thing, when we talk about sourcing all our own food,
two old people on the couch say they like it, and we should write a book. We should write the book, and they don't have a green thumb, which makes it bad. Yes.
Yeah.
And Ecocentric says we need to find foods we like that can be produced locally.
Yeah,
I agree.
And in sourcing that, in sourcing our own food, we need to decide what our motives are and what is kind of the most important to us. At times, economy can be the most important. If we don't have very big funds, if we don't have a budget for much groceries, trying to get it all as cheap as possible. That's economy can be our motivator. Sometimes the health aspect of it and wanting to eat things that are healthy for us, that can be our motivator. Sometimes though, just wanting to hands-on know where it comes from, that's a motivator. Sometimes it's just availability is a motivator. And that, when you factor in your motivator, that kind of helps determine which box you're sourcing a lot of that out of. Sometimes when you're talking about economy being the main motivator, that source of free foods, which can be anything from a neighbor with extra tomatoes to a local food basket, a local food distribution. Those free sources, that's usually a big part of when you're economically motivated, when you're motivated about being cheap.
Yeah. When you don't have the resources. Yeah. And we've been there. We've been there where it's cheaper to buy junk food than to buy good healthy foods.
Yeah. And but also part of that, if you're trying to be motivated economically and health-wise, free food sometimes is a good one. Free foods is sometimes a good one when you're doing two motivators, the motivator of health and the motivator of economic. Good source is free food, but another good source is foraging, hunting and fishing, that kind of foraging. When you talk about eating a fish that you've caught out of the lake, or game meat that you've hunted, or fresh greens out of the wild, that's very healthy and very cheap. Sometimes hunting can get costly when you start talking about buying all the licenses and permits. But
Drops, yes. We grow the majority of our own produce as well because of the chemicals. That's also why we started out early with chickens, is because I have a sensitivity to sulfa drugs. Sulfa drugs are fed to chickens in the big laying houses, and then therefore that is in the it is when the chicken metabolizes it, it puts it out in a higher concentrate in the egg, and then therefore I have trouble with the egg from the store.
Yeah, drops and Patty, that's what I would call a health motivator.
Yes,
and that is that is a huge motivator for us. We actually, I list all those motivators because those are all motivators for us, and we figure out how to balance them. And so if you're balancing that health motivator with the others, foraging's a good one. And another good one a lot is a chicken pen, like she mentioned. Man, a chicken house will feed you. A chicken house in a garden will flat feed you for almost nothing if you do it right.
Her Rebel Canner says her grandpa used to take a team and wagon to get fish, a trip that now takes her an hour and a half by car, all day there and another day back to get fish and bring back for his family and all the neighbors.
That's cool.
That is cool. Yes, Rebel Canners, autocorrect is a pain in the neck.
Yep, got five hens and a rooster. That's good.
Get 5 eggs a day. That's good.
And when those hens aren't laying good or that rooster gets too annoying, there's chicken and noodles.
Yep, you can stew those chickens.
Yes.
Two old people on a couch have too small of a yard. It doesn't take much.
No,
you can raise them in a rabbit cage if you have to. One in each cage. But.
Yeah, you can if you've got enough room. I mean, and I'm going to say a 5x8 area, you can raise 3 or 4 hens. And especially if you got a place where they can get up and roost and a good shelter. It does not take much area to raise chickens. If you're in an apartment, that's a little harder. Here's something I would suggest, though, if you're looking at apartment space or with no space, is quail, Cratonix quail instead of chickens. They make less noise. They take up less space. The eggs are a lot smaller, but they still lay pretty good. And, man, if you've got enough to incubate, you can produce some meat.
And as always, we got to put in the disclaimer: check out your local ordinances. If you live in a municipality or a city.
8 dozen eggs.
8 dozen eggs in the refrigerator. Oh, yeah. 2 old people on the couch sounds good. And chickens can eat your scraps.
Yeah, and that's the good thing about chickens. If you work your circle right, if you've got a garden and a chicken house, if you work your circle right, and some of the really fart smellers that get on here, like John from Heirloom Permaculture, can probably use better language on this. But if you work your circles right, you can use garden scraps and garden surplus to feed chickens. You can eat what you want out of your garden, surplus to chickens to feed them, eat the eggs, and then take the manure that they produce to feed your garden.
Yeah.
And that circle is a highly productive circle. And not only is that something that modern homesteaders have figured out, and that's an ancient homesteading thing. That is, people have known that for a long time.
2 people on a couch said that they have a house in just a small yard and they could check out town rules.
Yeah.
If it's just the 2 of you, you probably just need 2 or 3 hens. And that's going to provide you guys way more eggs than you'll probably use.
Yeah. You'll learn to eat eggs a lot.
You will.
And that is another thing when we talk about how we food source. If variety is a motivator for you, you're gonna have to use them all, and the grocery store largely.
Because your variety is going to be limited on your space, like 2 people on a couch.
And your season.
Your space, your season, so many factors. Drop says his are extra large brown eggs. Cool.
Yeah. Egg noodles is a good thing to make out of
extra egg
eggs.
Noodles.
Another thing that Hannah and I like.
Egg salad.
Yeah, egg salad is good. We made custard. Hannah and I have made custard a few times out of extra eggs. That's a nice thing to do with them. Ice cream is a good thing to do with them, which is basically a custard that you put in ice
frozen
cream
custard. Mixture. Yeah. Drop's is going to raise meat birds this spring. Awesome.
Yeah, we
egg
do that.
Noodles, Rebel Canners. Thinking of getting some hogs too. Drops. Yeah. Yep. Hogs are good.
To me, if you're small sustainable agriculture, small sustenance agriculture, let's call it that, that's your steps. You have the garden, then the chickens, and then the hogs. And the hogs, and they'll eat everything that's left over. The other things won't eat, including the chickens when they quit laying.
We've had hogs. We have much gentler breeds now, but we've had hogs that would eat our chickens.
Yes.
Like, because we free range our chickens, and ducks, and we had a dog that did, and we had our caretaker was very traumatized one time by taking care of our animals and the
I had some very aggressive hogs that
yes.
the chicken got too close.
It traumatized her. Yep.
That's cool. Buttons, Mom 100. You supply eggs to your son's family and your granddaughters and get eggs from people.
And they go to church. Awesome. That's cool.
Way too many chickens. We do too, and they're not laying very good right now. And we've got some health issues we've dealt with
with the chickens.
Yeah, with the chickens, and we're thinking about way thinning in fact, we're thinking about eradicating our flock.
Well, the problem with that is the wild birds. Yeah. If the wild birds could carry what's there. Potato salad, Drops makes potato salad. You can make egg salad just like you'd make potato salad and just use eggs instead of potatoes. You wouldn't. I know we add eggs to our potato salad, but you can do egg salad where you just parboil those eggs and you add your relish or your pickles and your onion and your mayo. And you can also make your own mayo if you don't know. It's a cup of oil, 1 large egg at room temperature, and a tablespoon of vinegar or lemon juice. And you put the egg in, the lemon juice, and then the oil, and you mix it slow, and it'll come on up.
So Drops, I don't know where you're at in your setup or your systems, but if you're wanting to do a lot of your food home produced, you need your garden, you need your chickens and your pigs next. Then the other thing that we have has been newer for us is a dairy animal. Could be a goat, could be, we have a Jersey cow, and that's what we use. I know that Papa Pepper down in Arkansas, they've actually are milking their sheep.
Yes, milking sheep.
And there's a place in Colorado that milks camels, but that's not what I would suggest for
an
acre
and a half. You're going to probably need something smaller, like a goat.
Patty, the issue could be, and we don't really know this, but the disease that we bought some chickens that had a disease that wild birds can pick up and then retransmit. I think that if we got rid of our chickens at the right time, we'd lose enough of the sick birds that we probably wouldn't retransmit that. But there's always just that chance.
The other thing to do is to breed a resistance. So
you do about a dozen eggs in your potato salad.
Yeah,
that must be a big batch of potato salad. I like potato salad.
2 people on a couch said they're preppers, so they're always looking for ways to do food.
Yes.
But Patty G, yes, the wild birds. If they've been to if the wild birds came to our house and our chickens were sick. Now, what our chickens have can go dormant in the chicken, and it's only transmittable whenever it is they're having a flare up. And let's say, or they can transfer it when they also transfer it in their when they are hatching in their eggs. It doesn't go. It's non-transferable to humans, though. We checked that out big time. But anyway, so we could take their eggs and hatch them, and those chicks have a pretty good chance of having it.
They also build up a resistance.
They do build up a resistance to it.
And our flock itself is pretty much okay right now. They built up a resistance, but they still have it.
Yes.
So bringing in more chickens or giving those chickens to somebody else, which we used to really like to do, it's not something we can do right now.
Right.
So somebody asked, do you use vegetable oil in your mayonnaise?
I do not. I like to use extra virgin light olive oil.
Yeah, that's what Patty says. She uses olive oil. Yep. We did find, Patty, that we use
a sunflower blend and olive oil sunflower blend. We like that sunflower blend.
Yep.
I know we missed one somewhere along in here. Oh, Drops has given extra produce to the local food bank. That is also, we believe in sharing, and so that we do share with others around us, as well as go to farmers market with our produce.
Yeah, one rabbit will produce enough manure for a small garden. You're right.
Yes.
And depending on your systems and how you do things, rabbits can be a good meat producer. So in World War II, the United States government pushed victory gardens and victory chickens. They pushed backyard chicken houses and victory gardens because it would help feed people so that our food systems and massive commercial farming could go to feed our soldiers and also go to relieve European countries where they could not get enough food.
Right.
That's what the U.S. did. The UK, instead of pushing chicken houses, they pushed rabbit pens, rabbit hutches. Rabbits produce a lot of meat. And if you like rabbit meat, if that's something you'll eat a lot of, that's a good homestead choice to provide a lot of food very cheaply. And you can feed rabbits scraps out of the garden and grass out of your yard and really go a long ways.
We missed Button's mom. Button's mom said that she put 20 chickens in the freezer last fall and should have done more.
Yeah.
Drops Family Garden says you were thinking of goats. One rabbit.
Yeah.
Prepper. Drops is a prepper. Two old people. Now you have solar and wind for your off-grid and a dual food generator, etc. Cool.
Probably
dual fuel. Yeah, that would be dual fuel and lovely autocorrect. Drops also has a stock of extra virgin olive oil. Good. Lots of people are on fixed incomes and over 60. Yes.
Yeah.
That is very common in our little town too.
Yes.
And a lot of them are disabled. We have a large number.
Rebel Canner said England pushed rabbits instead of chickens. Yeah, that's where I was going with that story. They very much did. Rabbits are too cute, but man, if you're hungry, they look better than cute.
Yeah. So we've
four-legged chickens. Yes, I've heard them called that.
We've done rabbits. I grew up. My granny raised butcher rabbits, and we grew up with rabbits. We grew up with chickens.
And we've had rabbits before. We just kind of got tired of eating them and didn't have we couldn't move them fast enough, so we went to quail instead of rabbits. This is what I read, and I never waited out to see, but I read that in a year's time, that one buck and 3 does would produce the same amount of meat as a beef calf.
How big? What biggest size of beef calf?
Well, I think it just meant like a fully mature, so we're looking at 1,200-pound beef calf. But it would produce the same amount of meat, and that was kind of interesting when I read that. I don't eat rabbit unless I'm starving. I used to kind of like rabbit, but we had so many of them, we kind of got tired.
Burned out on them. Drops powers his indoor greenhouse grow lights with wind and solar.
Cool.
Yes. You can keep quail in a small yard. We keep them in our old rabbit hutches.
Yeah, I just use my rabbit hutches. And I keep, 4 or 5 or 6.
And they're just a box, I don't know, 18 by 12. No.
Probably 18 by 24.
18 by 24? Okay.
Yeah. And I'll keep 6 hens, up to 6 hens and a rooster in a pen that size.
Drops, that's hilarious, but you better check out your game laws. He's got a bunch of California quail running around the yard. Rebel Canners does not eat their rabbits. They just want them for the fertilizer. Well, and that's the good thing about rabbit manure is you can put it down green. It does not have to age. It can go straight onto the garden. Yep. And Patty does the same thing.
So the struggle with rabbits is you have to butcher. And some people have a hard time with butchering. I do good at butchering. One thing I don't always have the time. Another thing is I do good, but it does weigh on me. It is a very spiritual thing for me. It has to do with my relationship and the way I understand what God has done for me. So I often look for food sources that can produce protein without having to butcher. And that's why chickens work good, because they lay eggs. And that's also quail. They'll lay eggs if you don't hatch them and butcher them. You can eat the eggs.
Oh, Drops. Yes, I'm sorry, Drops, that you lost your rabbit. Yeah, they're sweet pets. I mean, they are sweet, sweet pets to have. Wow, we've been on here 56 minutes. Yeah. That's pretty cool. We're getting close to our hour.
Speaking of pets and rabbits, our rabbit dog was in the house when we left. Our beagle was in the house.
We came home from church and she was running around, and so when I come in the door, she just run right in. She is our youngest daughter's dog, and yeah. How long do quail live?
I've got some that are over 2 years old. I don't really know how long they will live, but I've got some that are over 2 years old. They're doing good. They'll lay 100 plus 140 eggs a year or something.
Yeah.
And the cool thing about Cratonix Quail is that they have like a 15-day incubation. It's 45 days old, you can butcher them. At 60 days old, they've reached sexual maturity, so they're laying eggs at 60 days old. They've got a really fast turnover. If you want to incubate them to produce meat, man, they'll do it because they're so quick to turn around.
Thank you to two old people on a couch. They said our live is great and informative. Patty says she thinks she could harvest quail better than rabbits. So
I'd agree. I think it's a little easier for me too. I don't mind butchering rabbits. I grew up doing it, but birds are easier for me than mammals all the way around.
Drops is going to name his chicken supper.
Supper 1,
supper 2.
Yeah, love it.
Noodles, chicken, and I've seen lots of chickens named Noodles or dumpling or nugget. Nugget. Drumstick, no name drumstick and wing. Yeah. So Patty, on the quail, they're a pretty small bird, and a lot of people just open them up and take out the breast, and that's it. But we do use the whole bird. We do usually skin them, just because it's a pain in the butt to pluck them.
Drops, that's a good practice, and
yeah, ours go to freezer camp.
That's a good practice.
Usually,
when your hens get older and don't lay good, you just eat them.
If they don't fly or swim, you shouldn't eat it, right, Jules? Oh. Pigs were bacon, chops, and lard. Yep, that's what Herbal Canine said. Thing with rabbit, I watched my dad hang them in the garage upside down and process them. Yeah. Too emotional, empathetic. Me too. I cannot do the dispatch, Patty. I cannot dispatch. Gary has to dispatch. I can't do that. And Rusty and Gary did most of the dispatch when we butchered our bunch of chickens, and that made it a whole.
So I'd like to see how that works for meat birds.
Yeah.
I would be interested in knowing how that works.
Oh, yeah. That would be awesome.
So, Patty, let me address butchering for a minute. Butchering is very important to me. It's something I have done for a living at times, something I learned as a small child. But it is a meaningful worship moment for me. I believe that I am a sinful being, that I have disobeyed God and done things that don't please Him. And I believe that Jesus died on the cross and shed His blood to cover that sin, to make me right with God. And so every time I take an animal's life to feed me and my family, I'm reminded of the Savior whose life was given to give us eternal life. And so when I butcher an animal, when I take a life, even a fish, I am reminded greatly of the sacrifice given for me, and so that I can have a relationship with my Creator. And so, yeah, it's emotional for me too, but it means something important. It's something I don't take lightly. And some of the people in here have been at my house when I processed, and I made sure that was expressed how I felt about that.
And yes, Drops, we need to be respectful of that animal that the Lord has provided us with, and be responsible. We're responsible for that animal, and we should be respectful in the dispatch and use of that animal. Yes. Yes. Oh, we are at an hour and a minute. So
if somebody knows of another live going on or some reason we need to shut this off, please let us know. But we're going to keep talking for a few minutes. Yeah, Patty, that's something even when I hunt, I made sure that all of my older two kids had both hunted with me. My youngest one never cared to. Well, she liked to run the dogs with me, but she never cared to deer hunt with me. I made sure when they killed their first animal that we put the blood on them so that they realized what it meant to take a life, and also so they were reminded of the blood that was shed for them.
There is another live going on right now.
Okay.
So,
okay.
Yeah, Off Kilter.
Off Kilter.
Off Kilter's live.
We'll give us a couple more minutes, and then we'll go and let people get over to Off Kilter or wherever they want to go.
Yeah.
I'm sure there'll be other lives tonight, too. So.
Yeah. Typically, Heirloom Permaculture would be live, but they haven't gone back on their schedule yet.
This year. Yeah.
So, yeah.
I haven't seen him in here tonight.
Nope.
The timing must not have been right.
Well, he may not have heard our announcement last week that we were going to be on at 5.
Yeah, I would say it doesn't really bother me, but it is deep for me to harvest animals.
Thanks, Patty.
Thanks,
Have a good
Patty.
evening.
We'll see you later. We're going to go in a minute ourselves.
Tell Mac hi for us and give him a hard time. Pick on him about something.
I've got to say, in saying all that means to me, I hunt and I call animals and I butcher on purpose. I think it's important that everybody does it at least once. I really do. I think everybody at least needs to be involved in that process. If you can't actually do the dispatching and you just help gut chickens and stuff, that's still the same. You need to be involved in it, because if you're going to eat meat, that's what it takes. And
thanks for permission. I wasn't giving you permission. I was asking you to pestering for me. Good night, Buttons, Mom.
Yeah.
But yeah, we have seen kids' ideas of death completely change. From coming in as it's a big joke, and to where they see the solemnness of it and the responsibility of it, and the spirituality of it. That it is a solemn, it is respectful, it is it's what has to happen for them to survive if they're going to eat meat.
Yeah, I watched one of our students went to help me salvage a beef that had broke its leg. And he had thought it was great and was really giddy about it. He wanted to be the one to kill it. And the owner and me both told him no, that I was going to do it. But he was going to watch. And he was pretty excited about it. And I told him kind of how I viewed it. And when I shot that steer and then I cut its throat to bleed it out, that kid was as white as a ghost. And he was quiet for a long time. And he helped us. He helped us gut, and he helped us start cutting meat up. The processing, and everybody, all the young men that were helping us that day got to take a portion home, and they got to go give some to their neighbors, and we made sure that was a part of what they did. But he, about halfway through that process, he said, "I don't care if I don't ever see that again." And it really changed his attitude, not just towards animals. It changed his attitude towards life.
Yes, it did.
And I think that it's important. And yes, Drops, we try to be self-sufficient as possible too, and know what we're eating. That's important. Got your first deer at 14 and had to get it. I was 13. I understand.
Yep.
And I had skinned lots of coons and rabbits and possums and filleted a lot of fish and stuff at that age. And so yes. That's amazing. think that's an important part of getting our grasp around who we are too.
Yeah.
Parents butcher chickens. My mom tells the story, so I gotta tell a little funny on my mom and dad.
Gary's mama is a city girl.
She was raised in Tulsa, kind of that in the 60s and 70s.
Middle class.
Had
family.
a little. She kind of. I think she had a little bent towards that back to the land. She married a hillbilly. My dad is country, and that's where I got my love for livestock, and I learned a lot of that from. She married him. They got a little place outside of a big city, outside of Tulsa. And she tells the story of when I was a little baby. I'm the oldest, so when I was a little baby, she had me in my stroller and was going to help Dad butcher chickens. Dad pulled the head off a chicken, and it jumped and ran across the yard and landed right in my stroller with me and just sprayed blood everywhere. She was mortified and just knew that would scar me for life. And I don't know, maybe it did. But she talked about that. And then when I was a little bit older, Dad was butchering goats, and he was using our swing set to hang them from. And she decided to walk me to the neighbors, so I watched that. And Dad said as she had me by the hand, I was watching over my shoulder the whole time.
Yes, drops is important to a dispatch, a clean dispatch. Yes.
That's
yes,
ultimate goal. One shot, one kill.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So that's our responsibility. I mean, that is to do that respectfully. Yes. Anything else? Anybody got any questions? Now's your time.
We love this community, and
yes.
and even though this is new to us.
Yeah, the live is very new.
Guys, I appreciate you on here talking.
Yeah.
And we all see things a little different, so I'm glad to get to say my part and see y'all's part.
Yes, a predator is. Yeah. It's a. Yeah, we still need to be quick and do a good job of taking care of a predator as well. Yeah.
Yeah.
And that is part of our responsibility to take care of that and control that population if necessary.
Yeah, and drops I have at times made part of my living as a trapper and a coyote.
Good night, Rebel Canners. All right.
Yeah, good night, y'all. I guess we're gonna get off here in a minute. We're glad to get to talk to y'all.
Yeah.
And we know we're a little long-winded.
Yeah, a little long-winded. Thank you, guys. Thank you, Rachel and Rusty with Robertson's Belly Acres for moderating for us. And guys, build community. If you guys don't know one another, go to their channel, go to somebody else's channel and check them out and comment and encourage one another. So thank you, guys. And we hope next week we may or may not be here. We do our great grocery giveaway, our food giveaway through our church, and that may run long. And
we're making sure people in our community have that free source of food.
Yeah.
So
M&B Heritage, thanks for coming in.
Fun listening. All right.
Thank you, Drops.
You guys, M&B, you guys are going to be live at 8, I think I saw. We're going to try to catch you on that.
Hey, Paul.
Hi, Paul.
Buddy?
You've been part of a lot of that butchering and processing and around. You helped me pack an elk out one time. That's been a long time ago.
That's okay, Robertsons. We did great. We love y'all too, Robertsons.
Yep.
Paul, tell everybody we love them. Kiss on those grandbabies for us. And
Robertsons, I do appreciate you putting our church link up there, our church Facebook link. Thank you for doing that.
Oh, M, we're going out.
Yep, in Pedmore. Well, I'm doing good. Paul, we're hoping that next summer we get to make a trip up there.
We're really trying for it.
We have not. It's just our life here has not allowed that. But we're hoping that this summer that allows us to come see you guys. We would love to come up there.
We miss you all so much. So Paul's part of our family in Wyoming, or Victor Brow is part of our family in Wyoming. So y'all thanks for coming in tonight. Thanks for joining us. And
yep. And remember that you are created very special by a God that loves you very much.
Sonia's dancing. Why aren't you dancing with her, brother?
Well, just remember, as we say that we're going to try to come up there, the highway travels both ways. So, yeah.
She's dancing and yelling. Okay. What'd you do? She got ants in her pants?
I make my whole life dance and yell every once in a while.
Oh, mercy. Well, tell her I love her and give her a hug for me.
Yeah. And I guess we'll see y'all later.
See you later, everybody. You're very happy. What's going on?
That we're going to try to come
up. Oh, that we're going to try to come. Oh, okay. Awesome. Awesome. Well, we'll see y'all later. Have a good evening.